Hi everybody, welcome to my hair loss story. My name is Cindy and I have a hair salon in Newport Beach called Addicted to Hair. I've been a hairstylist now for about 16 years. So I've seen everything when it comes to hair loss. But I wanted to share my story about when it started, why it started, and also wanted to talk about, sorry, I thought there was somebody in the house. Also wanted to talk about what I do to try and camouflage it and hopefully maintain what I have and not let it get any worse. But anyway, so I'll get started. I was probably, actually this is kind of going into how I got hair in weird places and my hair loss story. So I was probably like 13 or 14. I had just started high school when I started noticing that I was getting like a beard. It was weird because I was like getting hair, like long fine hairs all around my chin line, all around my cheeks, like just, it was really weird. The back of my legs was really thick. It was like a guy. I mean, it looked like guys' hair on their legs. And then hair on my toes, hair on my knuckles. I mean, I was turning into a freaking werewolf. I mean, I don't know what happened, but it was really, really traumatizing because I'm 13, 14 years old, already a difficult age. You're just going through puberty and everything, hormones are going crazy. And then you're having to deal with something that makes you feel even more insecure. It's like, oh, great. So like I said, I was about 13 or 14. I started noticing this and I didn't know what to do. And I was so scared because I always heard the myth about shaving. And if you shave, it'll come back thicker and da-da-da. So I got scared to do that. So I went to the store and I found Sally's hair removal. It was like kind of like Nair. And I also discovered the bleaching. So Sally Hansen's facial bleach. So I started doing the Nair, but the Nair wouldn't really get every little hair. It was like, it would work for the most part, it would be nice and smooth, but you would still have those little hairs. And so I thought, you know what, I'll bleach them. So this way I have, you know, blonde little hairs instead of these long dark hairs and whatever. So I had a huge regime at that young age already trying to camouflage my hair. It was, you know, it was horrible because if I went into the natural light, if we were standing outside at lunch or something and somebody would like start looking at me and they go, I would notice immediately them kind of staring like in a weird way, and like a girlfriend would come and be like, you've got like a beard, you know? And I'm like, oh my God, get me out of here. It was so embarrassing. I'm really lucky that I didn't develop some kind of weird phobia, that I didn't want to be like around people or outside or something, because that could have very easily happened because it was really hard for me to be out and have people notice. But anyway, when I started doing the Nair and all that stuff, you know, it camouflaged it. I would even do my knuckles. It was really funny because when I'd be with girlfriends, you know, what we'd be doing all of our beauty, you know, routine, and they would take pictures of me. I actually had a pretty funny attitude about it, but they would take pictures of me and I looked like Santa Claus. Like I had like a full white beard from here to here, all over my knuckles. And I would even do my eyebrows because my hair was lighter at the time, so I would lighten my eyebrows in the same process. So it was really funny, but yeah, so this is basically all my high school years of dealing with this. And at that time my hair was somewhat normal. It was time of the generation was like where we did perms and all that stuff. So my hair was a little bit fuller just because I was doing perms and really lovely in the 80s. But finally, you know, but I didn't have any hair loss anyway. I just, you know, just had fine hair. So I could deal with fine hair all day, you know. So then finally I was about, I would say I graduated high school, went to, I was about 19, and I started noticing my hair started to thin. And that's when I kind of started to panic. I was like, what is going on? It started like right here in the bangs, and I would ask people, is it me? Am I going crazy? Or does my hair look thin right there? Like, what's happening? And people would say, yeah, like, are you under a lot of stress? What's going on? That's really weird. And so finally I said, you know what? Enough is enough. I'm a werewolf who's balding. Like, what is happening? I'm gonna go to the doctor and I'm gonna see what's going on. There must be something wrong inside of me for this to be happening. So go to the doctor, which was pretty disappointing because my doctor, they did some, you know, some blood work and whatever, checked all the normal stuff, your thyroid and hormone, you know, your you know, all your levels of everything. And you know, my doctor sent me to a specialist. I was there for all of 5 minutes and he basically said, there's nothing we can do. You have a slight adrenal imbalance. We can give you this pill. You'll have to take it for the rest of your life, but it won't actually fix anything. It will help reduce the new hair. So his suggestion to me was, why don't you just go and get some electrolysis? And you know, at the time the hair thinning wasn't as big of an issue because it just had started, so I didn't know it was going to continue to get worse. And so basically it was more about the facial hair. And so if you don't know what electrolysis is, it is a form of hair removal that they use a little needle and they go into each follicle one at a time. And they kind of burn the follicle and remove the hair at the same time. And I did probably 20 sessions of this, spent a lot of money for a 19-year-old, and it didn't work. The hair just kept growing like normal. So I think I could probably, if I let my beard grow, I could probably like twist it into a handlebar mustache. I don't know, I never did. I never let it get that far, but I bet you I could. There were some good whiskers there, you know? And my favorite was then I started getting some nice whiskers on my neck, and I would always carry a tweezer with me because you never know where there's going to be one that just pops up out of nowhere. And so I would then pluck the whiskers that I'd get like a patch of whiskers like right here. And I'd pluck them, and I'd pluck so hard because they'd be so short that I would actually pinch my skin. And so now I looked like a werewolf who had like an acne problem because it was red dots like all over my neck. Anyway, moving forward, I just kept dealing with it until finally I ran into this woman and she said, why don't you do laser hair removal? I do laser hair removal. And I thought, what is that? Tell me all about it. It was something it was a newer, procedure at the time, and it's laser. Basically they kill the follicle and it's permanent. So I thought, well, sign me up. So I went and saw her, and I have to just thank her from the bottom of my heart because it worked. It was a miracle. I didn't have hair anymore where I could actually go in the natural daylight, and I felt like a vampire because I wouldn't want to go in the sun. You know, people could see it. They'd be like, you have a beard. It was mortifying. What woman wants to, you know, what teenager, if anything, wants to be known as, you know, someone who has a beard? Especially if you're like with somebody and a guy and they're looking like she's got more hair on her face than I do. Anyway, so that was the solution. It was a miracle. Whoever invented laser hair removal is a hero. I mean, seriously, I ended up doing my armpits. I ended up doing my bikini. If you guys have the opportunity to do it, I'm not even kidding, jump on that, because waxing and all that stuff, ingrown hairs, you never have to deal with it again. It's amazing. Bikini ingrown hair is yuck. It's awful, and it's gone. It's just awesome. No shadow under your arms. I mean, flippin' amazing. Love it. So, anyway, so the hair was fixed. I was so grateful, and I still get like a couple randoms here and there, but I can live with that all day. I'm like, that's nothing. Anyway, so I started noticing my thinning was getting worse. And at that point, I was like, okay, this is kind of crazy because I just gotten into doing hair, started as a hairstylist. And I could do extensions at the time, and it was like, you know, that was an easy solution. I mean, it's like you put some extensions in, your hair's a little fine, easy, thick it up, whatever, and you can live with it like that. But unfortunately, my hair loss started progressively getting worse. So it started here, started working its way back, and you can't be bald on top and have hair extensions. Just can't pull that look off. It doesn't look quite right. But I didn't know what to do. It was like, what do I do? I mean, this is just, you know, this is unacceptable. I mean, there's only so many extensions I can put in, and So I finally said, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna go to the doctor. I'm gonna take whatever pill they said that I should take for the rest of my life, and I'll just deal with it and suffer the consequences later. So I go to the doctor. This is a new doctor, because I didn't like that guy back then. It's a new doctor. She did diligent tests. I mean, I even had to pee in a bucket for 24 hours, which was totally gross, but they had to see all the fluctuations in my hormones for the 24-hour period and whatever. So I went back for my results, and I'm not even kidding, this was like a couple weeks later, I started having these crazy dreams that like they found what was wrong with me, gave me some pill, and all of a sudden I had bushes of hair just growing out of my head, and it was like, hallelujah, oh my God, I finally have hair. But that was not the case. She told me in my follow-up appointment, unfortunately, Cindy, I have to tell you, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. I was so upset. I was like, what does this mean? She's like, there's nothing. You have something called genetic female hair loss, and also called female pattern baldness, which means you thin in a horseshoe area. So basically kind of like a guy's thinning, like where they kind of start up at the top, and like, have you ever seen those guys that have hair just like all along the sides? That's the kind of hair thinning that I have. That's the pattern that starts to develop. And I was so bummed out. I mean, to hear that that's going to be that's my journey. It's like, I'm going to be bald at some point. And I had 3 aunts that wore hair pieces, and I never really, knew why or anything, but, now I know why, because they were all bald. So I started to make it my mission. I said, there's no way I'm gonna live like this. I can't be a hairstylist who's bald, and one who does extensions. I mean, come on. So I ended up trying everything. I mean, it was like vitamins, you name it. I got those laser combs, the one that it's like $500. You use it 3 times a week. You literally like just hold it on your head and kind of move from section to section. And that was supposed to grow all this hair. No, it didn't. I tried it for 5 months, didn't work, not for me anyway, but that was that. I tried massages. I used stimulating, like stimulators to get blood flow to the head. I hung upside down from my bed. I did everything that I could think of that would bring hair growth to this area. Nothing. Nioxin, everything you can think of. People kept mentioning Rogaine, and I looked into it, and I got scared because Rogaine is, if you don't know what it is, it's minoxidil, and basically minoxidil is like the only clinically proven topical medicine that actually grows hair. But the downside of it is that you have to use it twice a day for the rest of your life, and that's a big commitment. I mean, you're like, seriously? It's like I have to wash my hair, it leaves an oily film on it. It's weird. And I said, no, I just can't do that. No. Finally, I mean, it's getting to the point where I'm like, my hair thinning is getting pretty severe. People are, the girls that would do my hair would be like, yeah, it's getting bad. Like, this is, talk about being scared of the natural light. Holy moly. I would be inside a car. If somebody had a convertible, which I bought one, I don't know, don't ask me why. You have the top down, and hello, you can see straight through my hair. So I'd be like, put the top up. Sunroof. Somebody opened their sunroof. I'm like, no, please close the sunroof. I don't like sun in my face. It's bad for the skin. And it's really because I didn't want anybody to see my baldness. I remember one time I was out with somebody, and we were, I think, Disneyland or something, and they like kind of stared at my head, and I was like, what do you see? And it was like, oh, nothing. I just noticed something on your forehead. And I thought, oh my God, they totally can see it. I'm gonna go to the bathroom really quick and see, is there some like bald spot that I didn't, see or didn't notice, whatever. It was just always something. I mean, having to live with constant insecurity is really frustrating. And mind you, I know it can always be worse. I always remind people of that. It can always be worse. I mean, it's just the journey that I was dealt, the card that I was dealt, and I just have really kind of made it my mission to figure it out. I can live like this. This is, I've really kind of figured out ways to camouflage it and to make it look better, but it's still there. I mean, it's not going anywhere, I don't think, anytime soon, unless some miracle cure is in our midst. So, anyways, I then finally looked into the Rogaine thing, and I said, all right, I'm gonna commit to Rogaine. It's getting so bad that 2 times a day, rest of your life, Gotta do it, because what happens if you stop using it, the hair that it has saved will literally fall out and very quickly. We actually had a client that came in, she'd been using Rogaine for 16 years, had been really happy with the results, her hair was nice and full, finally said, you know what, I'm gonna just stop using this stuff, gave up on it, and 30 days later was so bad she had to wear a wig, and so had to go back on the Rogaine again. So that really kind of was great that that happened to someone else that I saw. Unfortunate for her, but good for me, because it made me realize this is no joke. It's not a myth. This is something that you have to commit to using. So I started using it, and I did notice that my hair started coming out in like gobs. I was freaking out, like, what is happening? I'm losing more, what's happening? Well, it turns out that that's actually part of the process. They said it's working. I'm like, okay. So I did start noticing I was having some hair. Little side effects that I had were like some eyebrows that I kind of started noticing I was getting on my forehead, little hairs. But I said, man, I've been a werewolf before. It's okay. Go ahead, give me all the hair all over here as long as I have hair on the top of my head. Anyway, I then went ahead and noticed some improvements. But again, 6 months to like a year later, I noticed that like it just looked the same. Like I didn't notice really any fullness, any extra. It kind of felt like it just stopped. All the hairs on my forehead just went away. And I started doing some research on it, and they said there was a lot of people that went onto forums and stuff and that were saying that, yeah, that Rogaine does stop working for some people. And I think that was me, but I'm still using it because I'm so terrified that like it, replaced all these hairs that I'm unaware of. And then all of a sudden it'll just fall out after, a minute. So I'm on Rogaine. I've taken every vitamin you can think of. I started using, everybody's like, biotin. I give this advice to everybody too. Biotin, this, that, and I do, I take them, but I just don't notice really anything. And the main thing for me, I think, is if I can keep it like this for the rest of my life, I'm happy. I can camouflage it. I know how to work with it. I have extensions in my hair now. I know how to fill it in and really fake it. If this continues to get worse, you can't, like I said, you can't have hair down here and no hair up here. And I just don't think I can go to a wig. I guess if I had to, I would, but I don't want to have like the situation where you've got something itchy, it's hot, and then at night with your significant other, you got to go, excuse me, hang on 1 second, honey. Let me take my hair off and go to bed. That's got to be really embarrassing. And think about it, I'm like, you don't want your significant other to see behind the curtain. It's kind of like, that's the, you want it to be, mysterious and beautiful, like all this stuff doesn't come off. I'm just natural, But I guess, somebody who loves you will really understand if that's something that you choose to do. I do have a lot of clients who wear wigs, and they're okay with it. Some people, they'll just wear it for like an occasion, and then some people they wear them every day. I just don't see myself being one of those people. I think I would feel more insecure. A client and I were talking about it, and I said, but don't you think, if somebody even looks at your eyebrow, you're gonna feel like they're looking at your wig, and it's gonna make you feel insecure. And she said, what would you rather have them look at? Your eyebrow, your wig, or your bald head? And I thought, touche, my friend, you're right. That is so true. I guess I'd rather have them look at some hair and question whether it was real or not than look at my bald head and go, ooh, she's bald. Because ladies, I am sorry, in society today, it is not socially acceptable for us to be bald. Guys, we've accepted guys go bald. If you see a guy who goes bald, you're like, oh, tough luck on him, oh well. But you see a girl who's bald, I've seen it before where you see women where like they have like this little string for hair and it's completely see-through up here. And you're like, oh, what a tough go of it, man. That sucks. Because first of all, it makes you look older no matter what. It makes you look unhealthy. It ages you. It's just, I can't name how many different things. It takes away your confidence. A woman who has no hair feels like, seriously, she crawls up. I know this from personal experience. A woman who comes out with hair, they just kind of shake it around and look at me. You stand out. You just hold your shoulders back a little further and you are like rocking it. So we need to come up with some kind of solution. And trust me, if anybody out there has some miracle solution, please let me know. I would love to hear any feedback. But with my channel, what I'm going to be doing is transformations, showing you guys some before and afters. I will do one of my own without anything in my hair. And I will show you behind that curtain. That's going to be really hard for me, but I will do it. And show you how I get the volume and the fullness that I do have. I mean, it's not a ton, but it's enough that I could live with and still feel confident. And I will probably be doing demonstrations of different products and maybe some makeup tutorials in there. So hopefully you guys stay tuned and check out my channel, and please leave me any feedback, but I will link anything that I use below. I will link some recommendations for vitamins, and hopefully we'll see you again, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.